Greetings, dear ladies. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. In these sessions, my partner steps aside and stays aside. First time he hears what he says is when he develops the audio technically. He is not allowed to stay and listen. And this is different. And so he does not know until later what has been said. This is to honor those of the gender in the room who should hear it first. And I want to talk about gender. Dear ones, God is not a man. I said it before, don't let this male voice fool you. There is no gender on the other side of the veil. God is not a woman. The great creative source is energy that is genderless. It is creation energy. Your soul has no gender. Your soul has been both earth genders. It's experienced all the things that men would and all the things that women would in order to make you balanced. But the voice you hear now is genderless. The voice you hear now knows who you are. It also knows what women only know. I want to make it really clear. The chances of you being Lemurian, being here, being at this time, if you were to roll the dice, the chances are not good that everyone in the room would have been in these conditions so that you could celebrate the Lemurian sisterhood, so you could remember perhaps the times together. And yet here you are, and I'm telling you, everyone in the room was, everyone. Now, this is a synchronicity of old souls. It has you put in the right place at the right time. How do you know you're Lemurian? If you can't feel it, then you'll just take my word for it. Now, being a Lemurian can also qualify as being one who is on some of the islands that developed from the Source Island. And there were many. The sisterhood went with Lemurians. It was practiced way past Lemuria. Many, many years. And so we're not talking about the core group necessarily that was with Meliha. We're talking about the energy that goes into a system that honors the woman in a sacred way. A system that does not exist at all today. Not even close. Not even that which is the Aborigine. Not really. Not really. I want to take you back again, yet again. I want to paint even another picture. In review, for those who have not heard this before, the small continent which is Lemuria and then became later the Hawaiian Islands occurred because of the hot spot under it and the planet which bulged and pushed the mountain of Hawaii high into the sky, almost totally exposed, which created a small continent. There are other hot spots on the planet who had similar things. So high where they pushed, they even developed glaciers. This is typical for the planet. It is not unusual. Hawaii is still a hot spot. Eventually, as it happened in the other hot spots on the planet, it subsided with time. It vented with time. And that small continent of Lemuria began to recede into the ocean. And those upon it didn't know if it was going to disappear. Frightening times. It stopped, and the tips of the islands, the tips of the mountaintops became the islands. But the Lemurians didn't know that. They didn't know how far it was going to sink. But those are not the times we celebrate. It's the times that you were together in full regalia of its being a mini continent. And how women steered that humanity on that place. What you did, how you felt, and what it was like. Some of you were there. Not together. Many, many years where you would pass through a lifetime and participate in what we speak of. That is what rings true to you. Not the command, that which you would feel with the other women. No. It's what you feel with yourself and the experience. This is what brings you together. It was much different. Here's something I want you to know that only women know. First of all of you in the room have given birth, all of you. Maybe not this lifetime. All of you have had that special experience of having life grow in you. Every woman knows this. Every woman knows that the experience is not simply biology. That when you have that life growing inside you, it increases your awareness. It's not just biology. It's not just feminine. It's not just because we have the equipment. There is a life force that comes upon us as women. And as it grows, you find yourself even weeping in joy that you can participate in such a beautiful thing. It's not just biology. You know it. I know it. What a grand thing this is. And in those days, everybody knew it. It's what sets you apart. Life givers, life holders, birthers of humanity, men and women, come from you. And in the process of having the infant inside all those months, we're nourished. Women know this. We know this. You dream differently. Women know this. It's not just the chemistry that's changing. Your consciousness changes during this time. All of it. The consciousness is what we speak of, for this is what's different in you. As women, it prepares you with spiritual knowledge and equipment that is way beyond what normal is. You're the ones who would then be in total connection with the source. The men's connection was always first and foremost with Gaia. Their responsibility was to communicate with the earth. Yours was to communicate with the sky. Even today, the indigenous somehow will see the connection of gender between sky and earth. Very different. The men fished. In other places they hunted. They connected to the land, but they needed you. You're here for ceremony. I will tell you about a ceremony that I haven't told you about yet. Once a year, the winter solstice in Lemuria, something happened. Now, Meliha, you already emulated it. And now we're going to give you a little wink. You had no idea what you were doing. December 21 on Lemuria, 2012. You had a gathering of men and women and called it a sisterhood. And the men asked to be there. You could have put the men anywhere you wanted to. You chose to have them on the outside. If there had been enough, or if you had framed it differently, perhaps you would have even created a circle with the women on the inside and the men surrounding you. This is what you did in Lemuria every winter solstice. It was a celebration of life, but mostly it was a celebration the men had for you. And here's what they did. First of all, the circle had to be complete. The women had to be inside, like the center of a flower. The men surrounded you completely. There was no break. You were surrounded completely. And then they sang to you. Have you ever heard the beauty of a men's chorus? Full male chorus singing together. Not strongly, not bravado, but sweetly. In what today sometimes is called Hawaiian chants in ways that had harmony, songs that they all knew in celebration of you. You think this is about men and women. It is not. It is not. It's about balance. Today, you are meeting as women without men as a beginning of a return of something that was beautiful that you need to rekindle and appreciate and understand and know. Back then, they knew that women carry the life force, that it's different for you, for us. And they sang to you. The songs that they sang to you were beautiful, and they made you cry. Appreciating the guidance that you gave them all year long, the places to fish on the shoals that would move from place to place, and you were telling them through your guidance where to go, sometimes day by day. And they realized the power that you had to communicate so fast and so easily to the creative source. They didn't have it. Their connection was firmly in Gaia. They took care of Gaia for you. They got the food. But they knew who you were. And this is what the celebration is, and the potential is on the planet, is a return not to that system, but to the honor and the knowledge of what you really are here for, what you really can do, how good you are at it. We're soft and we're gentle and we're life givers. We're compassionate. That's who you are. That's who we are as women. And they knew it. The men knew it. And to hear their voices raised in song around you in a male voice, in a chorus, you waited all year for it. It was beautiful. And you didn't even sleep at night when it was over. That's balance. It's part of the sisterhood. Proceed. And so it is.